AKAPADers, welcome to another fantastic episode of the 2024 Thanksflicking. This is where, throughout the month of November, and maybe a little bit beyond, it depends how well I schedule and drop my videos. Well, me and the AKAPAD army, of course. But Thanksflicking are the films I am thankful for. It's an annual podcast event, our second of three late in the season podcast events. You guys know the 31 Days of Dread, then we have Thanksflicking, and then in December, it's Cinemas. Today we're discussing Infinity War, what I consider to be the true end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the true triumphant oomph. I love this movie, I want to explain it to you, so let's go.
Camera speed,
Sound production, take one.
action!
It's different when you can tell people you were there. You were there in line. You were there in a good spot in the theater. Some of you, bad spots. You were there with popcorn, soda. I do Raisinets. Packed theater in the middle of the day. You, your friends, a lot of people around you, everyone's taking off of work. A hype, a anticipation, purchasing the tickets on pre-sale as soon as they were available, organizing your friends, a big group chat. Who's in, who's out. You know one person is going to have to front the money, period. So you spend a couple $100 just on the tickets. Because you get the good theater, you get the good seats. Even then, about $20 a piece. So you spend a dime. Then you watch this movie, and within like the first couple minutes, when Thanos fights Hulk, you see what the movie's going to do. Everyone at this time thought Thanos was only going to get he only was going to get half of the stones. The next movie was called Endgame. This is going to be the next 3 stones and the snap. And in the middle, we will get Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel clearly was going to go up against Thanos, potentially die. Maybe they were going to follow the Marvel comic book gospel and give Captain Marvel cancer, and then have the entire Marvel universe somewhat have a reflection, somewhat reflect upon themselves through his passing, as they did with the Captain Marvel graphic novel, The Death of Captain Marvel. None of that happened. In this movie, Thanos defeats the Hulk, gets all 6 stones, kills Gamora, wipes out one half of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then is gone. A movie this giant, this complex, it's really a perfect movie. Your jaw hit the floor and you couldn't wait for what was next. Unfortunately, what came next wasn't this. Captain Marvel didn't live up to it at all. Endgame was fun at the time, but it doesn't have a lasting impression. The storylines, the threads, everything that runs through this movie, it's of absolute significance. I cannot even now think of even a historical drama that gives you so much, so fast, yet so clear. Now, a little bit of a caveat. You have to know a lot about some of these movies to see what the relationships and what the payoffs are. With that said, this is a complete cinematic experience. This is one big story, and it feels like it. We have some of the best design work. The music, I will put this movie on any day of the week just for the music. I love the whole collector scene where we see what the reality gem can do. The rules make sense. You can follow everything. Thanos is the cinematic villain of all time. You feel for him. You feel for everyone around him. You feel for Star-Lord with the loss of Gamora or Gamora. When Peter Parker, Spider-Man, dies in the arms of Tony Stark, it's there. It's beyond there. This movie is as deeply impactful within the story as it is of a collective work of art. The people involved, the way it's designed, the way it's positioned. It's mind-boggling of how much of this movie makes sense with as many characters as it has. The Soul Stone sequence with the revelation of Red Skull. Again, head-spinning stuff. In the theater, your head exploded when you saw that scene, when you saw that revelation. Because it's a little bit, the Red Skull kind of runs his mouth for a little. And then they reveal his face. It's insane. It's insane that they connected it to Captain America First Avenger, that they connected the motivations of Red Skull into this movie. The Black Order is just awesome and fantastic. I really didn't want any of them to die or get offed. I just think this movie's there, AKAPADers. I love this movie so much. I put it on regularly all the time. Maybe like 3 of the most modern movies I put on kind of on a tentpole or special effects level is Tron Legacy, Infinity War, and Pacific Rim. I equally adore all of those movies, but Infinity War is always of study for me, just to understand a little bit more what they do with the characters, and there's nothing like it, and that's also what makes Infinity War so special. There's nothing like this movie. A little bit of a short one today, aka Powders, but do not dismiss this movie just because it was quote unquote a worldwide blockbuster. I'm thankful for Avengers Infinity War and the day I saw it and the time I spent with my friends around this time. I know some of you guys still listen. You guys still rock and roll. You know who you are. Thank you.
Okay, that's a wrap.